or something. I mean, that's kind of crazy that, you think to yourself, like, somebody wants my autograph, but it does happen. And I don't know. I mean, I'm just a down-to-earth person. I just want to win. And I just, it's pretty much it.
All right, now, do you think that you can get any better as a race car driver, and if so, how do you achieve that to get better?
I think anybody can get better. I think the biggest thing is being able to make multiple runs. Be able to race more. The more you race, the better you're going to be. It's like practice, like anything. Back when we used to race motorcycles, when we first started racing motorcycles back in the day, we raced 3-4 times a week, bracket racing. We would go to every racetrack Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Sometimes during the week you go, and when you went to race other places, you always could tell the local guys that were racing all the time because they're better. They make more laps. And now, as racers, you see where we don't race as much. We got families. We're into doing other things. I don't just race. I'm not just racing the car. I'm just not racing the bike. So you're kind of doing stuff, different things. And to be a better racer, you need to be able to go out and make multiple runs. I got friends who race NHRA Pro Stock Bike, and that's, anybody that's doing this, you can always tell the ones that do it either for a living or have the ability to go out and make lap after lap after lap. They're going to be better. And if I could do one thing, that would be what I would do. If I could go out and just race on that level where I didn't have to work. But, I've got to work. So.
Now, do you have any drag racers that were inspirational to you?
Oh, yeah. Like I said, Ricky Smith has been probably my hero since I was a kid. I used to see him racing, and we would go down to Budds Creek when they were coming in and kind of just stand there up against the fence and watch them. And, and then I became friends with his son, Matt. We had a race team for a while. We used to race a class called Outlaw Pro Street together, and actually meeting Ricky and going to his house and staying there and everything. That's probably, the one person that if I was to say was a hero would be him in cars, and then if it was in motorcycles, it would have to have been the late David Schultz. Him or John Myers, maybe. Those two guys kind of were the best, in my mind, to ever do it. And like I said, in cars, Ricky Smith, to me, is the GOAT.
Now, when you get out there in the staging lanes, Robbie, do you have any pre-race rituals or superstitions at all?
No, I'm not a very superstitious person. I don't mind people coming up talking to me. I know there's some people that, they don't want people to talk to them. They don't want anybody coming over and bothering them. No, I don't. That's not me. I'll sit there and joke around with people and carry a conversation on. Whatever it is. I don't have any special underwear or anything like that.
Yeah, you don't have to put the same side glove on all the time.
What was that?
You don't have to put the right glove on first or nothing like that, right?
No, I've never been that person. I do know some of them that way. I know some that they've got they have a whole ritual. Some of them have to smoke a cigarette, take a certain amount of drags from it, or count, do whatever they got to do. I'm just not that way.
All right. Now, have you reached any milestones in your drag racing career so far?
Well, I haven't won a race in the car. That's the next thing. Is just, it's so hard to do, and that's the thing that my next on my bucket list is just to win a race. I haven't been doing it that long, but still, racing motorcycles, I used to win a lot, and then to go into cars and then to go to not winning has been a, kind of, brings you back down to earth, makes you realize that sometimes you're not as good as you think you are, and you just got to try harder and try to, think about what are the things that made you win in other things, and what do you got to do to accomplish that in this car. So that's what we're pretty much trying to do, is just, do all the things that we feel like maybe other people aren't doing.
Now, does that car take a lot of preparation to get ready for weekend racing?
Yeah. I mean, after every race, we bring it back and unload it, and the car pretty much gets torn all the way down. Usually, heads come off, pistons come out, rods come out, transmission comes out, rear end comes out. We pretty much go over everything. We check all the pistons, see if we have any that need to be replaced. Usually check the ring gap, see if anything's closing up. Change rings if we need to. Go through my father-in-law takes the rear end and goes through, checks all the backlash on the rear end, makes sure that nothing's getting ready to come apart. Luckily, we haven't torn any rear ends up. He stays on top of them things pretty tight and make sure that we don't have any issues. And then we just get it all back together and start all over again.
Now, do you have any favorite tracks to race on?
Yeah, I mean, Budds Creek's always going to be my favorite. I actually live, 10 miles from the racetrack, which has always been a plus. But if I was, going out of town, Virginia Motorsports Park's always been a favorite. I love Norwalk. Galat is probably one of the nicest 8-mile racetracks I've ever been to. That's a fun track to race at. Great crowd. Gainesville was always fun when we used to race motorcycles. We went there for the World Finals every year. That was kind of a highlight in motorcycle racing, getting to race there. And I guess that's pretty much it. I've raced all over, but those are probably the best tracks that are my favorites.
So now, where do you get your fire safety equipment from?
Right now I've got a impact suit. I had them build one at the PRI show. Got them to build me a custom suit, and that's what I'll wear again this year.
Now, if someone might be listening to the interview live right now, whether it be a kid or a teenager or adult or older person, what kind of advice would you give them if they want to get into drag racing?
Get in where you fit in, probably. Just you don't have to be the fastest. It depends on what you like. There's a lot of bracket racing out there it's fun. I like bracket racing too. I've kind of learned that for me, since I like to go fast, bracket racing's not the best thing for me because I'd rather not let off. But yeah, just do it if it makes you, whatever makes you happy. That's kind of the way I live my life. I do the things that I like and things that make me happy, and once they become a thing where I'm not really having fun anymore, then I kind of look to go somewhere else and do something else. So, it's not a cheap sport. It can be. You can race anything you want. If you want a bracket race, you go out there and a pickup truck and race. So it really just depends on what you can afford to do, and just have fun.
So how did you do in bracket racing? Did you have any success in bracket racing?
Yeah, with motorcycles and stuff I did. Not so much with the cars. I don't even think I ever won I don't think I ever won a race racing the GTO that I had. Might have made it down to the finals once or twice, but I never won a race in that car. The bikes, the bikes I've won a lot. I've finished, I think, number 2 in points at Budds Creek twice, and then I kind of got more into chasing the national point series, the AMA Pro Star. I started doing that, and I was kind of not really doing the local championships. I wasn't kind of concentrating on them. I was more worried about traveling and things like that, going to other races. So that kind of hurt me by missing races that were at the local tracks. But I had a lot of wins in bracket racing on motorcycles.
Yeah. So what else do you have on a bucket list for drag racing?
My ultimate goal is to win a championship driving one of these cars. That's the ultimate goal. Like I said, I want to hopefully get that monkey off my back and get a win, and then hopefully, maybe string a couple of them together and, just hopefully before I call it quits, win a championship in this thing. And like I said, that's going to be hard because there's no one easy in this class. And, when you run up everybody in Pro Nitrous, they're all the best in the business, and they take it very seriously. There's no one out there that wants it any more than any of the other guys. Everybody's shooting for a championship.
All right, now you said you're divorced, right?
Yep.
Did you have any kids out of that marriage?
Yeah, I actually have 4 kids myself, and then my current wife, Crystal, she has 2 daughters that I've been with them for the last 7-8 years. So I've got a son who's 30, Curtis. I have a daughter that's 25, Lauren. She works for me, runs my business for me at the office. I have Presley, which is Crystal's daughter. She's 17, getting ready to be 18. I got Brooklyn, who's my daughter from my other marriage. She's 15, getting ready to be 16. I got Adriana, who's 14, getting ready to be 15. And then Bristol is our youngest, and she's 10, getting ready to be 11. So I got a house full of women.
So any of them like drag racing?
What's that?
Do any of them like drag racing?
Yeah, they all like it. My son, I've tried to get him involved in it. He's not really. He'll come watch and hang out. He's never really wanted to drag race. My older daughter, Lauren, she's wanted to. She just hasn't gotten around, to actually doing it. But I think Brooklyn, which is my 15-year-old, I think she's going to be the one. She's already chomping at the bit to get on one of my motorcycles. I still have 3 race bikes that I race, and she's already claiming one of them, saying that as soon as she turns 16, she's taking over this one. So she'll be the one, I think, that kind of will get involved in it more than the others so much.
Now, does your wife come out to the races?
Oh yeah. She. I don't go to any races really without her. I think I've only been to one race without her. She's all in when it comes to drag racing.
Well, that's awesome.
Yeah, it is, because it's hard to find. It's hard to find somebody that's into it as much as I am. She may not be into it as much as I am, because like I said, I'd go drag racing every weekend. She goes with me with the motorcycles. She don't really care for them as much. She'd rather me race the cars, but she goes and she supports, and she's there for me, all the time.
Now, do you have any hobbies outside of drag racing, Robbie?
I used to. I golf when I can. I had sold my boat. I used to have a boat. We'd go skiing and kneeboarding and stuff like that. But pretty much, I don't really have much time during the summertime. You know, whenever racing season starts, I'm pretty much at the races or doing something that's getting ready for a race. Most of the time during the off season, my hobby, I guess our hobby, everybody says, is vacationing. I take my wife. We go to the islands or Florida. More this year, we just did Florida just because of COVID. But we used to before COVID and everything, we pretty much would go to either Cancun or one of the other islands or something. And that was kind of pretty much because she goes with me all year, and that's something that she likes to do is go to the beach. So that's kind of that was more or less, I guess, our hobby when we weren't racing.
I gotta ask you a couple quick fun questions here before we close already.
Okay.
What's your favorite music?
I'm somebody that I'm all over the place. I listen to country music. I listen to 90s hip hop. I'm not into any of the new stuff, the new hip hop and stuff. I can't even listen to it. But a lot of the 90s, I listen to rock. I'm a Guns N' Roses fan, Aerosmith. It's kind of the music that I grew up on. Never really was into much of the grunge type stuff, but I even listen to, if you want, like oldies. My dad, I used riding around with my dad, I used to listen to his music. So I'm a fan of Motown. I'm a big Elvis fan. I guess it's called doo-wop or whatever. I don't know, that kind of music. I listen to that sometimes. So if you're riding in the car with me, you're going to listen to a little bit of everything.
So now, if people want to follow where you're going to be racing at with the Legion of Doom page on Facebook, is that pretty updated?
Yeah, I keep it pretty updated. We usually let everybody know when there's a race coming up. We race, like I said, with PDRA. You can check PDRA out at PDRA